The game of Dweller continues as the Langdorm dominates. All Mash can do is watch from the ground due to his inability to use magic. Given the situation, he wishes he was home, relaxing instead. Meanwhile, in the crowd, Lemon and Finn watch on worry that Mash hasn't taken to the area the team captain to the area the team captain to. Comes down to give him a pep talk. He states the Mash swore he could be number one, which he denies ever saying. Tom advises him not to be complacent and makes an analogy to bamboo, which just confuses Mash. He even begins to speculate that the captain might be high on the hush-hush based on his nonsensical comments. Tom forgot to tell him the rules of the Quidditch clone, to be honest. This game is borderline copyright infringement. Jake should lawyer up both teams' fight for control of the ball midair and score points by passing it through the opposition's ring. The use of magic is forbidden, as the sport emphasizes on. Broom technique. While he explains the Langdorm continued to score more points, Tom is passionate about the Dweller, as he always put his everything into each game. He recruited Mash because he saw something special about him. He gets back on his broom and hopes that Mash joins them soon as he floats like a butterfly. The captain from the other team intentionally comes in like a bee sting and crashes into Tom, causing him to fall badly. The fangirls of Tom begin to let out a worried scream. The aggressor sarcastically apologizes and says that it was an accident. Mash rushes over to make sure that he's fine, but Tom tells him that his hand is broken. Langdorm scores another goal, giving them a 40-point lead. Tom calls out the opposition's sense of sportsmanship, but they laugh at his cry and call it nonsense. For them, all that matters is a winning mindset. The captain finds the situation amusing, with him being down by such a significant margin. Given the time, he knows they can't catch up, despite his dismal situation. Tom tells Matt that winning isn't everything, as one's effort and commitment is more important. The lead just keeps getting worse. The opposition is confident that they have this win secured given the margin and the time left, and not to mention the fact that two of their team members are down, but little do they know that they have annoyed Mash. The guy picks up the broomstick and grabs it tightly in a frustrated manner. He does things his way and leaps into the air to everyone's surprise, but someone points out that he stopped in mid-air upon closer inspection. The students figure out he's maintaining his elevation with rapid foot kicks, which just leaves them dumbfounded. Mash asks his teammates to pass in the ball he's faced with the other team, who rush to take the ball from him. However, they get a rude awakening when Mash hurls the ball from a distance that jets past the opposition and into the ring, scoring his team a point. Everyone is amazed by the shot, but they still specify that the limited time and the points gap are an unfavorable situation. A keen spectator notices the ball's trajectory as it comes back to Mash like a boomerang. They scream collectively in disbelief. He uses his unnaturally strong fingers to curve the ball in such a manner that he just continues to spam the shot like that one cousin whose spam moves in a fighting game, and within no time, he surpasses Langdorm's score. But continues till he sets a new all-time record. Lemon watches with heart-shaped eyes as the announcer declares Adler Dorm as the winner of the first Dweller match of the season. The crowd go wild, and they begin to apologize to Mash for their earlier heckling due to their record-setting score. The team were given silver coins. Mash inspects it, wondering why the shape is so odd. Godfin is still impressed by how amazing that game was, and is dazzled by how quickly Mash has managed to get such a prestigious reward, despite the fact that he has only just transferred. He is grateful for the admiration, but he doesn't think he will be playing the game again. Tom interrupts them with a call, and as he walks towards them, the girls start going wild. As he approaches, Finn thinks that he's coming to cause beef. However, it's the exact opposite, as he hugs Mash while crying and thanks him for the clutch win. Later on, the magical student's achievement is pasted in the newspaper, which Lance reads. He recognizes Mash from the entrance exam and destroys his picture as he recalls that he risked failing for a stranger. He labels him a naive student while opening his locks before picking him as his next target the following day. Mash sits in class as Tom tries to get in to come to practice, while Lemon attempts to get closer to him by offering to study all their classes as she holds a tower of books. But Mash is not interested in engaging in any of them. Finn doesn't want to be roped, and so he pretends to be sleeping. Lance comes in and interjects, expressing his wish to join the fun. Tom immediately notices his double marks and speculates that he's a first year since he has never seen him before. Lemon is aware of Lance and points out that He ranked first in the entrance exams. She comments on how cute he is now, that she's seen him up close. However, she stops her trail of thought because she has given her heart to Mash. The magical student tells the newcomer that what they were doing wasn't fun, so Lance suggests that they change that. Mash gets up interested, asking if they are playing hide and seek. The top-ranked pulls out a bottle from his row, pointing out that it is a special magic tool that is ancient. He opens the lid, which drinks Tom, Lemon, and Finn before they are sucked into the vessel he reveals that he is capable of. Trapping people, Lance informs Mash that if he wants them back, he must come to the forest, and then disappears. The two later meet at the designated place, and Mash wants to know what all of this is about. Lance points out that he wants them to bet because, just like Mash, he too is collecting the coins he has 2 silvers at the moment, which shocks Tom, who makes it known that it is only a select number of upperclassmen that have them. It is revealed that line marks indicate the amount of magic power one possesses. Lance has 2 meaning. He's really bad news. The majority of people are known as single-line magic users. However, there are rare exceptions, with multiple marks known as double-line magic users. They exist in the world at a rate of 1 in 100. These people are looked at as chosen by magic itself. Lance states that they will bet each other's silver coin in a match they will fight until one can no longer continue or gives up. We learn that any other format of dueling is prohibited in the school, since he has his friends hostage in a bottle. Mash doesn't have a choice but to accept. He points out that he has a huge advantage just by having the bottle, as he knows about his selfless personality. But resting face number 2 knows that he doesn't need this advantage to win. Lance points out that he was too soft by helping Lemon during the entrance exams. He is disgusted that he prioritized someone else over his own goals. Tom and Lemon advise Matt not to take the fife the magical student had enough of the long talk and wants to start the fight. Lance showcases his power by clearing the land using a gravity spell. The clearing can be felt by Burndead and Brad, who are lurking about, still trying to keep an eye on Mesh. The officer expresses his worry, which catches Burndead's attention. But he quickly explains that he is worried about his profits back to the fight. Lance has cleared the place, leading concentric rings. Mash comments on the flashness of the performance, calling it unnecessary. Mash dashes towards him, which confuses the number 1, who feels like it's a bit disrespectful to try and win against him. Without magic, he pins him to the floor with his gravity spell and begins to top down to Mash, stating that he has no aspirations, so he doesn't deserve the silver coin. Lance, on the other hand, is certain that he will be the one who will finish on top. Mash tries to stand, but is unable to, as the number 1 states that no human can withstand his gravity. The magical student plunges his hand into the ground and rips out a root which destabilizes the ground around Lance's feet, causing him to retreat. He lands in a lower position as Mash stands up looking down at him, asking if he too likes rolling on the ground. Mash wastes no time and dashes towards him again. Lance uses his spell, but the magical student increases his speed and escapes the area of effect and swings. But his target dodges. Lance notices that he's faster than earlier. As he retreats, he drops his locket, which lands near Mash. The guy opens it and finds a picture of Lance's younger sister. He confesses that he is overprotective of her. Mash returns it to him, and Lance asks him what the most precious thing in the world is. He feels like he has been put on the spot, but he answers saying that cream puff human life, love, and freedom are precious too. Him, but Lance thinks his answers are all wrong. Mash turns the question to him, and with a crazed look in his eyes, he states that it's his sister. The magicalist student points out that his answer proves that everyone has different priority. But Lance is disgusted and feels like the world is full of idiots because, objectively speaking, his sister is the most important. Mash just finds him creepy. The guy casually walks over to the edge of a cliff and dangles the bottle with Mash's friends inside. Lance explains that he's going to drop the bottle off the cliff and speed up the fall using his magic. When Mash tries to save them, he will be open for a finishing attack. Lance explains that for the sake of his sister, he can turn into the worst monster. He has a flashback that explains his motivations. His sister became ill with an incurable disease that will strip her mark and magical power in the next 5 years. When that happens, they will have to hand her over to the authorities, who will exterminate her as the genetics for non-magic users can't contaminate the gene pool Lance promises to become a divine visionary, so he can enter the Bureau of Magic to change the rotten system. His current action is to save his sister by any means necessary. He drops the bottle and activates his spell. As it jets down, he turns to Mash and is surprised to see that the guy has changed into his gym gear. The magicless guy warms up and enters sprinter start position. He activates hamstring magic, trying to cap his magic power. Lance looks a bit confused because he has never heard of a spell like that. Mash's veins start to bulge as his muscles tense, and aura can be seen around him as he prepares his big bang dash before he sets off. He tells Lance that losing to him and not rescuing his friends never existed as options for him. He springs off, and in an instant he's back with the bottle in hand. Lance can't believe he retrieved it in a flash. He wonders if Mash is using high-level physical enhancement magic. The magical student states that they should stop because Lance doesn't seem like a bad guy, so he doesn't think they should be fighting. Mash points out that the bottle he dropped was empty. He dashes over and reveals the real one and frees his friends. Lance concedes the battle and gives him the silver coins and leaves all the while. His friends are so grateful for the save. This affection makes Mash regret opening the bottle immediately. That brings the episode to an end.